And I've given lots of lessons to people who used to slice the ball. And I'm going to talk through some of the things I've observed them do at setup that severely limit their ability or their chance to stop slicing the golf ball. So the first thing, I think it's obvious, but we're going to talk a little bit about the grip. Now, we've all heard the term weak and strong grip and neutral grip. I don't love those terms because to me that sounds like how hard should I be squeezing the club? Should I be squeezing it strongly or weakly? And people get that confused a lot. So I prefer the term open face grip, kind of neutral face grip, and closed face grip. And so again, for those of you that aren't aware, if we turned our hands all the way to the lead side and we had the V running between the finger and the forefinger here up to the lead shoulder, that's going to be a bit of a weaker or more open-faced grip. And the reason for that I like to show people is, I'll hold this up to you guys. If I tried to close it as much as possible, I can get some, but I really can't get all that much. But if I took both of those hands and I rotated it to the trail side and I had that V running up to the trail shoulder or even further than that, well, that's called more of a stronger grip, or as I like to call it, a closed face grip. And if I hold that out for you guys, it's way easier. You can see all the range of motion I have to close that club face. And so having that leverage or that range of motion to close it is advantageous, especially if you slice the ball, because we need to get the face more closed. And so that's maybe the first thing we should understand is if we slice the ball, we've got a club path, or excuse me, a club face that is aimed to the right of our club path. And at its core, that's all a slice is, right? So take comfort in that. There's not bending your elbow or whatever, keeping your head down that made you slice the ball. It's simply the fact that the face is open to the path. And so yeah, there's an element of path and there's an element of face that go into how the ball curves. And so if we can get your grip in a position where it's much easier for you to close the face, well, I think that's probably the first step in trying to get the ball to fly straighter. Now, the other thing I'll see slicers do all the time as it pertains to kind of grip is they'll set up and they'll apply their grip with the handle straight up and down, just like this. And I think we can all agree at impact, we'd prefer to see the handle maybe 10 degrees, 12 degrees forward. Well, that's fine, but if you watch the face angle of my golf club on that magnetic tool, if I grip the club with the handle straight up and down and no shaft lean, and then I apply that shaft lean that I hope to get at impact, you can see that the face wants to point more to the right. So again, I'm stacking the odds against me in getting the club face square at impact, assuming we can still have the handle forward. Everybody wants this forward shaft lean, but if it comes at the cost of the club face being open, eventually you're just going to stop doing forward shaft lean or you're going to keep leaving the face open. Neither are a good solution, right? So my preference is to actually push the handle forward, square the face, and then apply the grip you intend to use. Let's say I added 5 degrees of shaft lean there, and I go another 5 degrees at impact. Well, now I haven't manipulated the club face near as much. And so again, I'll apply that grip with my hands forward and then go back to impact. And now maybe the club face moved 1 degree or 2, but there's not as much manipulation required to get back to that desired impact position. So the other thing I'll see slicers do is they set up with their spine tilt incorrectly. And by spine tilt, I simply mean if I had a line between my shirt buttons and my belt buckle, what slicers will typically do is set up with their shirt buttons closer to the target than their belt buckle. This does a couple things. One, it makes it really difficult to turn, and it makes it really easy to slide. And two, it positions my sternum leaning toward the target, which kind of creates this like reverse C type of look, right? And so again, from that down the line view, if I set up with that belt buckle behind the shirt buttons, you're going to notice my shoulders want to open. So that's going to influence the path to be more outside in. And it's going to cause my trail hip to get higher. It's going to make me want to slide my body instead of turn. And when I'm not afforded the ability to turn, my hand path will raise significantly. When my hand path raises significantly, it's really hard to come from inside out, but it's going to be easier to come more outside in. Now, if I'm able to set up with the belt buckle in front of the shirt buttons, what you're going to notice, especially from the down the line view, is my shoulders are going to want to stay more square or even closed. Again, I believe that influences the path to be more from the inside, a great thing if you're a slicer. And the other thing it affords us is the ability to maintain our spine tilt and rotate better without all of that excessive slide. So again, if we set up with the belt buckle back and the shirt buttons forward, it's really easy to kind of slide and get into the reverse C position. But if we have the lead hip a little higher, the belt buckle in front of the shirt buttons, well, now as I turn, I'm able to get all this turn, and I don't have to sacrifice my spine tilt to get there. When I'm able to turn more, it's a great little 2-for-1 here, I'm actually able to get the arms to work more around me. That's a product of the turn, right? And now I'm able to swing a little bit straighter into the ball. So your spine tilt or your sternum position at address is wildly important if you slice the golf ball. Now I also want to talk about like one other thing that's maybe not mentioned enough, and it's called your eye line. Okay, I'm going to say it again. It's your eye line, the position of your eyeballs at setup. And I think the best way to demonstrate this is sort of with an alignment stick, and I'm going to do it from the down the line camera view here. So bear with me. I'm going to do my best to put this alignment stick straight across my eyeballs. Now, if I wanted to swing very straight into the ball, I would try to get my eyeballs to match the target line, meaning look like this. If I wanted to draw the golf ball, a way to influence that is to actually take your eye line and shift your lead eye closer to the golf ball and your trail eye further away. As I do that, my perspective on what a zero path or a straight path would be is now altered. Everything has been influenced just because of the way I'm perceiving things to be slightly more inside out. Now, I also think it closes your shoulders. It gets maybe your hips a little bit closed as well. But all else being equal, I will tend to see slicers set up with the lead eye further from the target or from the ball and the trail eye closer to the ball. And you can see as I do that, the yellow stick on my face here, it wants to point more outside in. I believe that that causes players to swing more outside in. And so if you slice the ball, there's a good chance when you set up, you might have that trail eye too close to the ball and the lead eye too far away from the ball. So I would just tell you, hey, when you set up, let's try to get the right shoulder a little closer to the right ear a little closer to the right shoulder, and let's try to view the golf ball from more of this perspective. Now that might close your shoulders, it might close your hips, but essentially what it's doing is it's allowing our eyes to see a zero path that is actually more from the inside. And so I see a lot of slicers set up with their head tilted this way, and then they inevitably have their shoulders and hips a little open, and they will swing more outside in. So if you slice the golf ball, do not overlook your setup. Hope this helps you. Thanks for watching.